Hello and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Fusilai, which is Gara's signature special weapon. Now this is actually quite an interesting one, and I have to admit from the off I don't really get along with this weapon. I don't know what it is. It seems to be really slow and cumbersome again. The arc on it is absolutely horrific for me. I find it very difficult to aim. It might just be the fact that I'm just used to the rapidity of Hiku Prime or even Spira Prime. However, that aside, this weapon does have some amazing stats and it can hit really hard. It's one of the few, if not the only, throwing weapon that actually has an alternate fire, which is bloody useful. Although this does actually act quite differently and does have its own pros and cons. Now, its damage is actually quite evenly split between slash and puncture, which does make it very effective against flesh as well as armour. However, it does lean slightly towards the slash. It does have a pretty darn good critical chance as well as a very high status chance, which we'll go into a little bit further with the alternate fire, and the reload speed is actually pretty darn awesome. Now, of all of the throwing weapons, it does have the slowest fire rate as well as a very small magazine size, and for me personally, the alt fire is a little bit twitchy. It will increase your status chance by quite a bit, so if you're wanting those status procs, it will increase it. However, it does drop your critical chance as well as your critical damage by a hefty amount. So this will decrease your overall damage. When you do the alternate fire, it throws 3 knives, which is also affected by multi-shot, so that's a chance of 5 essentially if you've got a decent bit of multi-shot on there. But this will always consume 3 knives from your current magazine capacity, as well as sometimes, I'm not sure if others have noticed this, but it's noted down as well as like a bug within the game. If you empty the magazine while using the alt fire, you will have a pretty darn slow reload. Of course, they do arc as well. They are a thrown weapon, so much like bolts as well as arrows, they do arc, which for me, not generally too much of an issue, just where it couples with the fire rate, it tends to be, for me, quite of a bit of a bitch to aim. Now, you can mod this to actually try and speed up the fire rate, but still, in comparison to things like the Hiku Prime or the Spira Prime, it is quite a bit slow. Now, due to the balance between the critical and status chance, it does work quite well at higher levels. I've gone for a slash viral build simply because it seemed just to work that little bit better than putting corrosive on. And if you're really wanting, you can try and favour the slash just to try and build up those slash procs just to get the kill efficiency that little bit better. Like I said, I've gone for a slash viral build. It does seem to work pretty darn well. It seems to slow down quite a lot at around level 100, particularly against armoured enemies. However, if you do take this to infested enemies, it does actually kick ass pretty darn well. It absolutely nukes. Now, another weird one about this weapon is the alternate fire is classed as semi-automatic. However, if you have at least 3 rounds in your magazine, you will continue to fire until you don't have 3 rounds left in your magazine. Now, the way I try to use this weapon, particularly against armoured units, I'll get pretty damn close, do the alt fire, so a lot of the blades hit at once, and I can get a lot of procs in one initial burst, and then I go to the primary fire and just try and finish them off because of the damage increase. Now, as you can see, like I said, this thing rapes infested. But anyway, on with the build, which is pretty darn simple. It's Hornet Strike, Prime Pistol Gambit, Prime Target Cracker, Barrel Diffusion, Ice Storm, Frostbite, Pistol Pestilence, and Lethal Torrent. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much, and I will see you pretty darn soon. Ta-ra!